it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a very important viewer question that we got in, and that is, should I confront the narcissist? Should I blow the lid off this psychopath? Should I really expose this person in my life? Should I really go belly to belly with them? Should I go toe to toe? Should I start confronting them and try to have a discussion? Is this ever going to go anywhere? Is this to be advised? So that is the topic of this discussion here that I'm going to focus in on. And of course, with any sort of discussion that you have, it's going to have pros and cons. And before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently made a donation to the channel. Particularly, we have a lovely viewer who made a donation. She's very, very generous and thoughtful to make continued donations to the channel, and thank you so much. I just want to give you my heartfelt gratitude. I really truly appreciate your viewership and your contribution. It's wonderful to be able to pull together resources here and make some really significant life changes happening here. So thank you so much for your continued support, viewership, and your input. And I really want to get really in depth in this discussion here today, because it's very much, it becomes a really pressure point for a lot of people when they feel that they're starting to put the pieces together. Things are starting to make sense. Now you're able to unravel perhaps the mystery of why you have felt the pain that you've been feeling, the questions that you've been questioning, the suffering that you've been undergoing that you haven't been able to articulate. You didn't realize that this sort of person, existed in the world. Furthermore, it just boggles your mind maybe to realize how close encounters you were with this type of person, and to really understand that there is someone underneath the mask of, it could be a very responsible person, a very significant person. It could be a boss, a mother, a father, a sibling, a spouse, a neighbor, someone who is really kind of going after you or who has targeted you. And you're feeling that, now that things are coming together, the desperate situations, now you have a sense of desperation and wanting to expose them or confront them or really, attack them more or less regarding what you have been through, and sort of connect the dots, if you will. Is this advised? Is it good to confront them? Well, there's pros and cons, and I would say unequivocally, and as this is the second part of the series, keep always in mind, argue with a fool, and then there are two. I'll say it again, argue with a fool, and then there are two. Think of the narcissist or the psychopath as having certain personality traits or skills or temperaments or chemistry with which are different from your own. So you might think that you know them. You might think, you can understand their patterns, and you want to foil them. Realize that because you have this knowledge doesn't mean you should go and then share this either with them or with others in their circle of influence. Let your knowledge be for your knowledge, and let you apply it, especially how it relates to you changing up certain things that you need to do in your life. Things that you have now begun to realize that were broken in your life. Begin to allow this knowledge to allow you to fix what you need and to move on. Yes, the hurt can be so severe and so profound and be going on to so many levels that you really want to really put the pain back where it belongs. And basically, oftentimes you feel that it's giving it back to this person. So, people want to yell, they want to scream, they want to say, I know better than you. I know that you have a personality disorder, you need mental health. Whatever it is you want to say to them, remember, you're dealing with a moving target. You're dealing with someone who is not going to play by the rules, who doesn't really care really what you have to say, because deep down, the psychopath, the narcissist, really does not feel that they need to change. They are not going to be open to your feedback. They're not going to be open to your going off. In fact, especially when you get into, situations, these people become a lot more cruel when you begin to confront them and have like discourse and discussion and, this and that, and you're, thinking that you're going to arrive at some sort of closure, some sort of agreement of terms, thinking maybe you're going to feel better now. now that this person is confronted. Well, remember, you're dealing, with someone who has a personality disorder, and oftentimes, they oftentimes, take great pride in being narcissistic. In other words, they can also be quite righteous or feel, that they're like, girl on fire or man on fire when they have this personality disorder, and they feel that they're above the law, above the rules, above even, basically having a sense of entitlement to do what they have to do, and they don't really feel that they have done anything wrong. And especially in the case of a psychopath who does not have a conscience, they really, don't really see what they have done is wrong. And oftentimes they're going to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. In other words, it's just business as usual for them. This is just how they make their way through life. This is just how they progress. This is just how they relate to people. Eventually they're going to hurt others. It's a calculated, deliberate thing. I'll get this and I'll do this. I'll tell them this, and then they'll feel this, and then this is when I'll have to come back. And you'll basically see that, that it is, they have already the, exit planned. They already have, stage left, ready to go. They know what they're going to do. They will, go through the rehover phase or the resmother phase. They'll, shower you with compliments. They'll feed you a line of, bologna sandwich. They will do whatever it takes to keep you there for a day, a week, a month. Until really, they'll have whatever go-rounds and they're basically done. The psychopath will reuse supply again and again until either you've, fully exposed them. Even after that, they'll kind of be like, well, do you want to keep going? Should we, keep seeing each other? When you, with a heart and, you've made commitments to them, or you have thought that you had, professed your love to them, or you thought that you were an item or a thing, or, you had felt this way, and then they have, betrayed you and, led, a double and triple life behind your back, and, they still think, well, why wouldn't you want me back? This is just how people treat each other. So they don't get the hurt. They don't feel the way that you do. They see you anger, and to them, it's like you might as well be eating popcorn and, talking about the weather, because to them, it's all going to resonate the same way. So you yelling and confronting and talking to them is just kind of like you telling them, I still want you in my life. I think that you're so worth having in my life that I'm going to get all up in arms, and I'm going to yell at you and scream and throw a fit and, lose sleep, lose my appetite, lose my job, lose my finances, whatever it is, because you're worth it. You're worth me screaming at. So that's what they're going to interpret. So you have to realize, you're not dealing with the typical average person who's going to say, yeah, that was totally wrong. I'm going to grow out of that now, and then adapt and adjust and change their behavior. You're not going to get that with them. They're just going to continue to do exactly what they have done to you. They're going to do it to the exact same person who they're with. They're going to do it to the next person and the next person and then the next person, until finally, they're not going to have anybody. Their situation is going to implode. Eventually, the snake gets foiled from the grass. So, realize though that, sometimes you need to, on the other hand, you do need to have that exposure where basically, you've blown the lid off of them. That they are, lying to you. That they have, betrayed you. These things, and that's all you need to do. Basically, clear cut out. It's not worth confronting them. It is, again, argue with a fool, and then there are two. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you any further. You might have a momentary relief of releasing some anger to them, but, basically, you're going to become foolish if they see that if all the manipulation has worked, and, you're just completely angry and beside yourself. you know, that's basically a win for them because they see that you had basically fallen for their trap and now you just figured it out. And oftentimes remember that the narcissist and the psychopath, they often don't always feel that their supply is worthwhile individuals. In other words, they tend to categorize their supply or targets as stupid, or, you know, you fell for this. So that's really the assessment that they make in their mind. So also remember that as well. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos, that they do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.